Welcome back, guys. I'm here today with a special guest with Coach Rafaz.
I just started my coaching journey when I had my eye surgery 4 years ago. So I was playing regular football at a decent level, and then I got my eye surgery, and then after that, just slowly started coaching. So I just started documenting it, literally posting videos, and one video after another. Um, it was around 100,000, then a million views back to back. From that live, I got a 2 minute clip. I posted that, and that hit 5.5 million views. You've helped me win my first league title.
Yeah.
You've got me into my under 21 national team. You've got me from the bench to regularly starting, and now I'm not being dropped. I think when I see that, where you are respected, because at the end of the day, we're in football because we love it,
Yeah.
and the key thing is to always have that love for what you do. Because when you have that, you have unlimited energy.
Welcome back, guys. I'm here today with a special guest with Coach Rafaz. You may have seen his content, a fantastic coach, but really into kind of content creation over the last few years. But we want to get to know you, Coach Rafaz. I think your name's Raphael. Am I right? I think that's your full name. Yes. So we want
Yes.
to get to know you. A bit about your journey, a bit about how you got into the social media side of it, and a bit about where you are up to now. So for people that do not know you, are not really familiar with you, can you explain a bit about yourself and how you got to this point?
Yeah, so I just started my coaching journey when I had my eye surgery 4 years ago. So I was playing regular football at a decent level
Yep.
here in the UK, but I wasn't really enjoying it. And then I got my eye surgery, and then after that, just slowly started coaching. And when you do things that you wouldn't expect, and suddenly you fall in love with it.
Yeah.
So, so I just started documenting it, literally posting videos, and one video after another. It was around 100,000, then a million views back to back within the space of 3 days. And then I realized, is this something I can focus on? Because it looks like the world, or the footballing world, needs a voice in the tactical side, psychological side. So yeah, that's where also I think you could say it started by accident in a way.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's
So was also football just kind of taking you back to your kind of childhood? When you go back here, where did the passion start for football? Not in terms of the tactical stuff, not in terms of being a coach, but was it when you were a kid just playing with your mates and then it grew, from there?
Yeah, so obviously a lot of it does come from my dad, and myself and my dad playing football in the garden or in the park together. Because my dad played for our home country's national team, and then he had an ACL injury, so he always wanted me to really get on with the football side, and he was always focusing on the details when I was 5 and 6 years old even. And then I naturally fell in love with the game just because I don't know, I just obviously there's some things you can't really describe. You just love playing football. And I was playing at various academies, Barnet, Wycombe Wanderers, and for my county, I was playing very well as well. Like as a player, I was very, very good. But then there was always a part of me that just didn't have something that could take me to the next level.
Mm.
And yeah, but the root of it is all just the love of the game, and that comes from a lot of it is I'd say from my dad. Yeah,
For sure. I think for everybody, I think it's very also different. I think for me, it started kind of watching, Monday Night Football when I was, 10 or
yeah,
11, just
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
and I was a strange kid because I used to be that kid with, with obviously the laptop at like 11 years old in class, watching Sky Sports and looking at Jimmy Carragher's big whiteboard and,
yeah, yeah,
learn
yeah, yeah.
enough, then you get a grasp for it. When did the sort of coaching kind of also passion start for you? What age was that around?
So this was I mean, it's difficult to say because coaching, now that I reflect, even as a player, I still enjoyed coaching because during the game, I'd actually look at my team and say, look, if you go there, I drop in, I'll get the ball, give it.
Yeah.
Or even with our friends in the park, I'd start putting out cones and saying, guys, instead of just having a kick about, let's actually get something out of it. And then we were doing passing training sessions, and I was going through the detail because out of my friend group, I was the best player there. So I was just
Mm.
trying to help. So naturally, I feel like coaching has always been intrinsic, has been a part of me, but obviously officially on social media it was just about 3 years ago that I really started, and even that story is interesting. It happened through accident. So there was a team talk I was sharing with my team, and then I got a video sent to me, from my friend, and he was like, I was like, what's this? He said, just post it. You never know.
Yeah.
And then since that, and then it just started from there. Otherwise, if he hadn't filmed it, who knows what I would be doing right now?
Mad, isn't it? Because it's just I think the last few years, of course, social media has boomed and you can do that, and then it creates huge, chances and pathways of people. One of the things I say to people now more and more is share your stuff around on maybe
Yeah,
LinkedIn,
yeah, yeah.
just even opinions. I think some people think they're underqualified to do so. I think some people, I think
Never,
especially
never.
younger people. I've always been one that I think you should just do it. If you, of course,
Yeah,
you're going to get opinions. I think you get opinions from your kind of comment section that don't agree with you. I bet you get that all the time. You've got thousands of followers. You're always going to get your own opinions. I think what's really important is
exactly.
that you just do. I think a lot of people benefit from it as well. When did so of course you talk about your passion, obviously playing and then coaching in the park. That's kind of similar to what I was doing when I was younger,
Yeah.
trying to be the coach and also player. When did you start? When did you start to do your badges? Was that part of the process when you were younger as well?
Yeah, so I did my UEFA C 2 years ago.
Yep.
Now just getting onto the UEFA B is quite complicated and difficult, but I'm sort of working on it. But it goes back to what you said about thinking you're underqualified when actually there's a lot of football fans that have a lot of knowledge because they just watch the game and actually just because they don't have a badge was stopping them from actually going on the training pitch with a group of players and coaching them.
No.
It's down to how you see the game and how you communicate more than the badges, I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting that I think one thing I love about coaching and one thing I think I love about obviously like also analysis is that people have their own ideas and I think one thing you can and I think we'll get on to that more, but people have their own ideas and I think what's really great, it's like an art really. You can form
Yes.
your own ideas in
Yes.
your head, and what I love about your stuff is that it's not overcomplicated. I think people can look at it and sometimes go, that's overcomplicated. But I think if you break it down, you kind of break it down for people and then they grasp, the information from that. I think for you, I think when I first saw your stuff, I'm thinking, okay, he's a coach. But in terms of performance analysis, he seems like he just watches football. One thing I say to players nowadays is that I do think when I speak to young players, they don't watch football enough. They just don't watch football. Then maybe it's because they're not interested, they love playing. But I always say, if you watch football, you can take so much stuff from it. Do you think that's an issue with the younger not really with the younger generation, but do you think that's just a whole issue with itself? Is that there is a lack of people actually watching the game?
100%. And I think a lot of it is down to potentially Instagram and TikTok and YouTube where players will just watch a highlight video and say, yeah, I'm watching football. But actually, obviously, you spend 95, 98% of the game without the ball.
Yeah,
So watching the whole game of the player in your position will help you a lot, naturally. I've met a lot of players. I say, okay, so how often do you watch the game? Oh, I don't really watch it. And I say, okay, so where do you learn from? Oh, I just play. I'm like, no, you have to, like, naturally, you have to be studying the game, the players in your position. And I feel like the younger generation, it could be attention span because of the short format content. But even then, if you love the game that much, you have to force, and you shouldn't really force yourself to watch a full game. Even last night on YouTube, if you type in tactical camera full games, you can watch any game or that's been uploaded from the bird's eye view. So it's just interesting just to watch that, even if it's 10 minutes, where you can just see some movements, and that's it. We're not asking 90 minutes.
no.
I really do think players need to be watching because what that does as well, it develops self-awareness. Because then you realize, okay, if I'm playing like Lamine Yamal got the ball here and just played backwards. I don't have to go forwards every time. Why has he played backwards? Oh, it's to reset the game. It's because there was a moment of transition, so he wants to settle the game down. Oh, this time he's got the ball and he's driving. Okay, how is he driving? You can always break it down further and further. Yeah.
Sure, and I think sometimes maybe it's a fear of we're not trying to be like a replica. We're not trying to be exactly what
Of
they are,
course not.
but we're trying to just. It's about the basics, It's about the basics. Okay, we need to recycle it. Okay, it's just the understanding in terms of also positional awareness and understanding, and at times you can pick up little bits, and it's not about picking up loads. I think sometimes we watch a game, or some people watch a game that I maybe 14, 15, 16. They're told to watch a game, and it's overwhelming because what are they actually trying to
Exactly.
trying to
Yeah,
pick
yeah,
out,
yeah.
and how do you actually watch a game and take bits from it? When I started off watching games and actually taking notes. I was like scribbling notes every minute. And then I thought to myself, okay, maybe I'm overcomplicating this here. Maybe I need
Yeah.
to look at it in maybe batches and understand a bit more context. Okay, why this is happening, not just the action. Okay, why, looking around the pitch. I think people love short snippets. I think that's why your kind of content and people that do your stuff, they get so many views because people love that 2 minutes. But sometimes you can actually watch a game, then go back to one of your videos, and you can link the two together and start to understand why a
Yeah.
bit more. I want to go back to when you started it. So you said you put out there was a video you put out of a team talk. Okay. When did so you got a lot of views from that. That's your first video. When did you start to think, okay, this is working? This is, start taking this a bit more seriously?
It was a couple weeks after that when I just started posting regularly, and then I started saying, okay, why don't I do an Instagram live? So I did an Instagram live, um, very poor lighting. The tactics wasn't fully in the camera shot. From that live, I got a 2 minute clip. I posted that, and that hit 5.5 million views.
Well,
So when I saw that, I was thinking, wait, so a video that hasn't really been edited, so it looks like people are looking at what I'm saying, and clearly they need this 5.5 million views. Then I posted another one, and that hit 3.5, I think. So suddenly I really started thinking, okay, I might be on something here.
mm,
So it's a case of okay, let's just keep exploring what's working. So the live stream was about tactical breakdowns of a formation. I said, okay, let's do a team's formation. Okay, Ten Hag, Man United. Okay, let's find the formation. Let's break it down. And then before you know it, you're doing all multiple teams. You're doing match previews. But the root of it is just me listening to the audience and the views really. And also when I was making those videos and going live, I really enjoyed it as well. I just felt like it was quite natural, so I just wanted to pursue it more. Yeah.
it's yeah. I think you're a natural speaker. I think you kind of gravitate. I think a lot of people can be in front of a camera and they lack a bit of personality.
Yeah.
I think you've got that, and I think it shows in terms of your kind of passion for the game. It's clear. Was there from also doing this over the last 2 to 3 years any kind of people that you've spoken to inside the industry to offer you a role? Has it enhanced your kind of profile as of yet? Within the industry itself.
Yes, it has. So, in October, I had an opportunity in Lithuania in the first division as a coach and analyst. But logistically, there were a few things that didn't work out. But still, that was a taste. So I was there for 2 weeks. It was a taste of full-time professional football, and the truth is, I really enjoyed it.
Yep,
So.
for sure.
I think that might be a work in progress, but also a lot of people, I still feel like they'll look at my social media and think I'm not serious, or they'll think I'm a content creator. So I'm working on that to try and move away from it. But at the same time, I'm actively applying to places, and obviously when they see your CV and they see your socials, that helps as well, I guess. Yeah.
Sure, and I think that is probably a bias. I think people will look at sort of say opinions like that, but I think on an app like on also LinkedIn, for example, there's a massive kind of net. What I've learned is that there's a massive net. I share my stuff or share my opinions all the time. You kind of connect with somebody, you ask a question. I think learning off people as well, but there is a bias I feel on TikTok, on Instagram that it's easy to give opinions. Has there been a moment maybe in the last 2 to 3 years, maybe a hard moment, where you've rethought it and gone, okay, is this the best thing to do for me, or have you rethought your pathway, or have you just stuck to it and actually believed in what you're doing is working for you, but also benefiting a lot of other people and young aspiring coaches?
Yeah, I've never had that thought to sort of stop or change it really. I think the energy I've got from my audience, from players, coaches, analysts, directors, from the messages I receive, you've helped me win my first league title.
Yeah.
You've got me into my under 21 national team. You've got me from the bench to regularly starting, and now I'm not being dropped. I think when I see that, first of all, money wouldn't be able to ever buy that, but also it's the case of okay, clearly I'm on the right track. Let's just keep going. Let's not stop. I've never really had that moment, to be fair, to actually say,
Yeah, for sure. Have you, when you were growing up, I want to go back to your inspirations. You obviously mentioned your dad as well. Was there any sort of coaches, any cultures, anything that kind of gravitated towards kind of tactics and also analysis?
Yeah, so when I was 8, 9, 10 years old, I was playing a lot of Brazilian futsal. So in London, there was this centre that was doing Brazilian style futsal, and it was just constant movement. It was creating ladders, so three players in a line, then you skip the player out in the middle and make other movements. And I just felt so much in love with the game playing indoor futsal because it was all about your technical ability and thinking sharp and movement. So all of that put together, naturally, I think my brain started to connect the dots, which is why when I speak about ideas now, it just feels natural because I'm guessing from a young age, those little movements have really helped me. And also at Wycombe Wanderers, there was a really good coach that I had, and I think all the coaches that I've really seen a positive light to this day, it's just that they gave me that element of freedom. And it was just about trust yourself. There was a game, I think I was 12 years old. I was trying hard to score because I wasn't having a good game. And then at half time, the coach said to me, look, stop trying to score, relax. And I ended up scoring the winning goal. So it's like those little moments as a child really shape the way you see coaching and the way you see football. Because now as a coach, I know what helped me. So obviously I can help players as well. Yeah.
I think a lot of coaches that especially aspiring to be a coach have obviously we all come from a different pathway, but we've all maybe had a moment where we've had a really good coach that really believed in
Yeah.
us, and that's the reason why we want to be a coach. Or I remember my own journey, I remember being a player. I wasn't the best player in the team, but I had some really good coaches that really challenged me, that really pushed me, that were there for me during really difficult periods. And I
Yeah.
wanted to be that coach for
Exactly.
another player, and I think that's roots. In terms of the analysis part of it, I think you're a deep thinker. You strike me as I remember because I'm a Man United fan, so I remember Ruben Amorim kind of coming in and I was trying to figure out, okay, why is this system not working? Is it to do with him? Is it to do with the players recruitment? Okay, so I looked at a few of your videos over that period of time, and I'm a big fan of Ruben. So I was trying to understand, okay, why is this? And I was watching your videos and I was like, wow, okay, I'm starting to understand a bit more. In terms of the analysis and in terms of the love towards that side of it, what is it for you that when it started, what started for you that kind of love for the analysis, for the tactical part of it?
I think just the idea of, let's say, having an outcome that you see on TV, but then breaking it down to see the root of it. I think that journey is actually quite interesting. It's
Yep,
like if you ask a chef, I'm pretty sure they really enjoy the process of washing the ingredients, chopping,
yep,
frying, and then they have the final course. So I think when we see a goal or when we see a nice pattern of play, just breaking it down to understand the why. Understanding the why is extremely important because when you understand the why, first of all, you learn about the game, and then you can understand how you can use those concepts as for you personally as a coach with your team or as a player. So I think just
yeah.
breaking it down from actually end product, but looking at the beginning, I think that journey is quite interesting to me.
So when you watch a game, so obviously with read, we obviously watch stuff after the game, but when you actually watch a game, how does your brain work to break things down? Do you take notes or do you just watch something and then feel it and then go, okay, that's why? But how do you actually break down a game?
Yeah, it's good that you mentioned the word feel because when I watch the game, I watch the plays around the ball. Obviously your peripheral can always see the ball, but it's about, okay, what's this player doing? What's that player doing? What's the opposition shape like? Are they pressing here? And then slowly I'll just connect the dots and then I'll just get a feel for the game. And then often when there's a substitution that changes the game, obviously the feeling of the game has changed. So now we have to focus on how has that substitute, for example, midfielder coming on to control the game, how has that happened? What's he done? Why is this helpful? Like Argentina France World Cup final, extra time Paredes comes on and changes the game completely. If you watch the extra time, you'll see a notable difference. And it's like he was dropping into the back line to collect the ball and dictate as a midfielder and
Yep.
he was creating a 3v2. So those details come from seeing it from a general perspective and then slowly zooming in to the feeling and what has contributed to that feeling currently.
Yeah.
And I think as well, it's the case of, okay, we can always see the ball, but how is this player's decision on the ball being affected by those around him in possession and the other team out of possession?
Yep.
All of those contribute.
I think yeah, I think you're spot on. I think watching sort of watching Manchester United the last year with obviously Ruben, a lot of it was feeling, and he said it himself a lot of times was that the players, it wasn't like his ideas were that big or anything, but they weren't getting. Maybe there was a trust, maybe there was a like alignment issue. There
Yeah,
wasn't that feeling a bit sometimes a bit scared to play. Sometimes,
exactly.
so it's a mentality thing rather than a big tactical
Yeah.
aspect of it. The thing with you was I just wanted to ask you was that with the analysis, how how hard is it then to kind of break it down to a video? So when you watch the game, so you sit there, you watch a game and you take notes. Then that kind of when you do the video, how do you pick out the best bits that will influence your own and your own ideas the best?
I think when I watch the goals scored and conceded, there'll be a notable mistake somewhere, or a notable positive or no notable negative, and that's the one I'll clip, and I'll just break it down all the way through. And when I do the general match reviews, so for example, Champions League tonight, after the game, if I do the review, it'll just be key moments. So, for example, I can tell, let's say it's Bayern Munich Real Madrid tonight, what has been, let's say, giving Bayern Munich a lot of joy. It's their constant rotation. Okay, I'll just focus on that and I'll break that down to the details that I feel like a lot of people actually see the detail, but they just don't know how to articulate it
Yeah,
or explain it. So I'd want to actually break that down. Yeah.
for sure. I think I'm going to move
Yeah.
on to you again.
Yeah.
Where do you see yourself
Yeah.
in 5 years from now?
I mean, it's the thing with football coaching, it's very difficult to have a destination when it looks like there's a lot of things out of your control. As a player, you have one good game, one scout watches you. That's it. But as a coach, you need time, you need a team, you need a season, you need a couple seasons. So I think in 5 years, I'd want to be in at the highest level possible. So as a professional coach, fully professional, whether that's here or abroad, just working in a professional team, and ideally, yeah, head coach, because I feel like that's my thing.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I think when I speak to a lot of people over the last year or so about what you want to do, what I want to do, and I said a coach, and they go, but that's so hard. That's it's a
mm,
long process and it's not easy. It's I felt that the last year even, and it's up and down, and you don't really have. You can have an idea or you have a hope or where you want to be, but a lot of it depends on a lot of factors. And
exactly,
I think if you choose to be a coach, you're choosing a very difficult kind of journey. But you love what you do, and I feel like sometimes it's like an addiction. You see Roy now going into Bristol City. He's 79 years old, but you love the job that you
exactly.
do and you're addicted to it. It's in a hard addiction to break, and that's whatever level you're at. I've had a lot of coaches that I have not enjoyed playing for because I just feel like it's not a passion. But when you get it coached, then you can genuinely feel that kind of connection
Yeah,
to the
naturally,
game.
naturally, you'll see the players feed off of it. Yeah,
100%. So I just want to ask you, I've got a few kind of things that people have asked me to ask you. So I want to ask you your opinions on a few things. Firstly, what is your favorite formation
very difficult. Honestly, I always get asked this.
that you do?
It depends on the players I have, but
Mm,
let's go absolute ideal scenario. I quite like the idea of having the 3-4-3 diamond. So
yeah.
Johan Cruyff formation, because I've studied a lot about it, and if you see the key teams that have had massive success, like Barcelona's Pep Guardiola, there were elements of that. So I quite like the 3-4-3 diamond. Yeah.
And then who is your favorite coach right now? Actually I'm actually gonna change that. Past then also present. What coach do you think has had the biggest effect on also the game? Who's had the biggest, made the real huge kind of difference in the game?
I I think could be an obvious answer, Pep Guardiola,
Yeah.
but for reasons that maybe I don't know whether they've been discussed, but more so if you notice now that every team looks to 90% of teams look to play out from the back, I think the root of it is Pep Guardiola. because at Barcelona he was the first coach to actually say, okay, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do that in the recent history. And suddenly, the more and more teams are doing it, I think the root of it always goes down to Pep Guardiola. I
Yeah,
think somebody else is Bielsa
yeah,
with the way he set his team up at Leeds, and also even De Zerbi with the build-up, especially from goal kicks.
yeah.
Even Pep said it himself that De Zerbi's changed the way he's seen the game. Like centre backs putting their foot on the ball, that starts from De Zerbi. That's De Zerbi's sort of concept. So I think those three, Pep, Bielsa, and De Zerbi, personally.
Yeah, for me, it's one that I always think. Okay, a lot of people talk a lot about now. Okay, what is the right way to play? Okay, so
Yeah.
in your opinion, are some coaches or maybe teams, are we trying to are they trying too hard? If you see my your Moore's carrot comes back into United, seems like it's just calmed everything down. He's gone back to basics. He's suited the players. Sometimes coaches in the Championship or League One, they're trying to play out from the back, and I do get it because there's an ideal way that we would all like to play. But do you think that sometimes we're overlooking what is the right way to play, and we're too obsessive over it, rather than do we need to go back to more of a results kind of driven aspect, or do you think, especially in youth, or also football as well, players now you got I see coaches trying to make their teams play out from the back, and they're 8 years old, and sometimes it seems to me it's over the top. We need to go back to basics. But I want to hear your thoughts on it all.
I think it's more about the coach personally and whether or not they have an ego.
Yeah,
Because I think there are a lot of coaches, if their team perform well and win, they'd want it to be because of them, because of their idea. They decided to play this play in this position, this happened. But sometimes, as we've seen, having your idea doesn't maximize the team. But if you actually abandon your idea just a little bit and adapt and get the absolute best out of every single player and you win, you've won. But some coaches don't like that feeling because they feel like that's not down to me. So I think a lot of it is the ego side of it. How attached are you to your own identity and the team's performance? But personally, if you're results driven, maximizing your players. If I have two big strikers, I could use them a little bit more. I can go a little bit more direct. If I have slow centre backs, why am I going to press high? For example, if that's my identity, how can I do that here? So I think adaptability is absolutely massive. It's one of the key things.
I think
And
it's yeah, I
yeah,
think it's spot on, and I think it's huge in also youth football as well. I've got a feeling that there's a lot of coaches now, and I'm not sure about the UK as much. I'm just thinking about out here where I am, but that they have one way of playing, and I think as a youth coach, you want to make your players have all the tools that they can approach a game in the best way. Whether that's playing out from the back or being a bit more direct. Some games maybe come in a bit, maybe in a low block, but they're adaptable, and you want to have players that I feel that are on also the pitch that you want to get them to make their own kind of decisions for themselves rather than it coming from the coach. I see a lot of players now look back to their parents. Am I doing the right thing? Look
yeah,
back to their coach. I think we want to, as a coach myself, I think I know I'm young and you make mistakes, but I want to try and avoid that as much as possible. Like I want to give them the tools to be able to feel empowered to make their own decisions for the strength of the whole team. So it's about getting the balance right. But I think we have an idea of I think as kind of coaches of how we would love our players to play, but then you also got to trim it down and think, okay, what's best for the team, and then what's best for their own journeys. Yeah,
and
for
and it's
example. Mm,
and also it's about the solution seeking mindset because
mm,
if you're constantly spoon feeding young players, okay, you must do this when the ball is here, the game might give them something different in that moment. Then what are they going to do? So they need to have a proactive mindset, and at times that means you sort of let them free a little bit and say, look, you're in this zone, interpret the game, interpret the space,
yeah.
and identify and let them make mistakes as well, especially youth players. Let them make mistakes, 100%. Yeah.
100%. For the last one here, what would your advice be for a young coach or a young maybe performance analyst who wants to break into the industry? What is your advice to them?
I'd say just stay true to yourself and always listen to your inner voice. If you're in an environment where maybe you're not being respected for your
Yeah,
work, have the courage to actually find other environments where you are respected because at the end of the day, we're in football because we love it.
Yeah.
And the key thing is to always have that love for what you do. Because when you have that, you have unlimited energy to do continuous breakdowns, constant analysis. You'll go into the fine details because of the love. So never lose sight of that. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you very much, Raphael. I think your
Thank you, Ed.
stuff is inspiring. I think it maybe gives a lot of people like me that want to. I think no, I think what I love about coaching as well. I think you're learning all the time, and I think that's why we love football is that it changes all the time. So you're learning all the time,
Yeah,
and I
exactly.
think watching your content and other people inside your space as well, it really gives us a lot of thinking to. And I think when you're thinking, you're learning, you're progressing. So again, as well as sharing your own stuff. Something that a lot of people are scared to do, but you got to start. You started not really by fault. It was an accident, but it worked out the way it did. And I'm sure it will continue to do so. So we really appreciate your time here.
Thank you, Ed. Yeah, really appreciate your insights and your kind words. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.